Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. In today's video we're going to be doing a comparison of all my burnt siennas. I have already done a burnt sienna comparison early last year, but as you can see my collection has expanded somewhat since then. I was thinking of including some other PR101s such as transparent red oxides, but I decided against it in the end and I just focused on the paints that are named burnt sienna. Okay, so let's get started. So first we have Rembrandt burnt sienna, which is PBR7. So this is my most used burnt sienna. It's the one I keep in my usual landscape palette. Yeah, I do like it and it does the job just fine for me, but I do think there are others I like much more. Next we have Mijello Mission Gold burnt sienna. This one is a 3-pigment mix of PBR25, PR112 and PY150. Mijello do make some of these unexpected mixes for some of their earth colours. I mean, their light red is another one that springs to mind. I used to not like them very much, but the more I use and experiment with them, the more, I'm beginning to appreciate the mixes I can get. As well as their strange earth mixes, Mijello do now offer some single pigment versions as well, such as this next paint. This one is Mijello Mission Gold Dark Burnt Sienna, and it's made from PBR7. So as you can see, this is much browner than Mijello's other burnt sienna. I would say I like it better, but this paint has one huge problem. Out of the tube it's fine, but if you squeeze it out into a pan and let it dries to like a solid rock. And I don't mean it just becomes a little difficult to re-wet. It's like even if you pre-wet it, the water just sits on top of the paint. And when you do eventually get some pigment out of it, after some scrubbing, it has this horrible like gritty texture. It's, really not nice. I even tried adding some glycerin to it and it barely made any difference at all. I mean, it's definitely not a paint I'd recommend, even if the colour is nice. Moving on, we have Schmincke Horodam Burnt Sienna. This one's made up of PR101 and PBK9. Now the usual burnt sienna pigment is a PBR7, but some brands do like to use a PR101. It is a little surprising though that Schmincke choose to put black PBK9 in the mix too. I'm not sure there are any other artist grade brands that do that. I could be wrong about that though. The paint does look good though, and it is obviously very nice to paint out, as most Schmincke paints are. I always used to think this one was too red, but too red leaning, but looking at it here, I quite like it. Next we have Holbein Burnt Sienna, PBR7. This one's been a long time favourite of mine. I think it might be the first burnt sienna I ever used. I'd probably be using it in my palette now if I didn't have some 20ml Rembrandt tubes that I need to use up. It has a really nice orange undertone and glow that other PBR7s here don't have. Yeah, I really do like it a lot. Next we have M. Graham Burnt Sienna. This is another PBR7. Yeah, this is a new paint to me. I was expecting it to be like really runny like the other M. Graham paints I have, but it seems to set in a pan just fine. It's quite a brown burnt sienna, and it seems to have a slight red undertone to it. Yeah, I quite like it. It's very highly pigmented and paints out beautifully. Next we have Winsor Newton Burnt Sienna, or Winsor Newton Professional Burnt Sienna. This is made from PR101. In the past I always avoided the PR101 burnt siennas. I just used to think they were far too orange. Yeah, and yes, this one is very orange, but yeah, it's really, really beautiful. It like has this wonderful glow to it. Yeah, for me, it's the closest competition to the Holbein. Next, we have Roman Schmal Italian Burnt Sienna, which is PBR7. It's another lovely paint from Roman Schmal. I've been quite impressed with their paints that I've tried so far, and especially for the price, of course. Yeah, it's a very nice brown burnt sienna. It reminds me a little of the Mijello dark burnt sienna that's painted above it. But of course it's much, much easier to re-wet. Next we have Da Vinci burnt sienna, which is another PBR7. I do really enjoy painting out the Da Vinci watercolors. They just flow so beautifully on the wet paper. I'm so used to using Asian brands or Rembrandt, which don't flow much at all. Yeah, I do wish Da Vinci were more widely available outside the USA. Yeah, this one's really nice. Okay, and finally we have a student grade watercolor. This one is Van Gogh Burnt Sienna. This one's made up from PR101 and PBK11. Yeah, just like the Schmincke one, this one has black in the mix. It is still a very nice burnt sienna though. I used to use this one a lot in the past and I was always very happy with it. Yeah, Van Gogh are a great student grade watercolor. Okay, so that's all of them painted out, and here they are when completely dry. Wow, they all look great to me. There's quite a range of hues even just between the PBR7s. It probably would have been a good idea to have grouped all the PBR7s together so that you can see them side by side. Oh well. I do still think my favourite out of these is the Holbein. For me, it just has something special about it. My second favourite is probably the Winsor Newton. I kind of love the glow. Of course, that's not to say I don't like all the others too. I'm actually quite impressed with all of them. I mean, even the Mijello Mission Gold is a lovely colour. It just might not be what you want in a burnt sienna. So which is your favourite? Do you like to stick with a PBR7 for your burnt sienna, or do you like the glow of a PR101? I'm definitely liking the more orange-leaning burnt siennas these days, but I really like the Da Vinci and the Roman Schmal as well. Thank you for watching. I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye-bye.